So we had a pretty big week wrestling wise. We had three pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever the fuck you want to call them. We're gonna kick things off with TNA Under Siege, which to me kind of felt like a TNA version of Saturday night's main event. It was on a Friday though. It wasn't that spectacular. That's nothing really special. So for this, we're gonna do beer cheese match, worst match, honorable mention. So I'll go first. Uh, beer cheese match. Well, my beer cheese match of the night was the match by elegance. That's right, the
Oh,
knockout
okay,
tag
okay.
champions, the Elegances versus Spitfire. If Spitfire lose, they split. We get tables, hairspray, stop sign, hockey
Mm-hmm.
stick, and chairs. There is even a
Mm-hmm.
pink trash can lid, which I was hoping was a cookie sheet, but it was not. Uh, Elegances are shouting at Jody Threat's parents who attended in the front row. Ash rocking a pink kendo stick. Pink
Mm-hmm.
umbrella used to block hairspray. I thought that was pretty unique.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Concierge blinds Jody with a glitter bomb. Proceeds to then dance on the apron worse than Alex Abrahantes from fucking AEW. Match was a sloppy good time.
That's
Uh,
the Alex Shelley dance, bitch.
Maggie Lee helps the Elegances with the worst table spot of all time. They redo it properly. Ash puts Jody away with a swanton bomb to retain. And you've heard it here before, Sticks, me praising the elegances and their matches again did not disappoint me. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Gentlemen, Caesar, any thoughts on the match by elegance?
No, no, no. It was a good tag team on matcha. Um, yeah, anything goes, which elevated the match. Them bitches was doing some work, doing some dirt. The chair match. Not the chair spot at the top of the ring was a crazy spot. That opportunity
Looked
took.
like it hurt. That shit
That
looked
shit looked like it hurt for real, bro.
like.
But she used to be a gymnast. She'd be all right. Bitch is flexible, but that shit looked like it hurt.
And
Yeah, the
Batista
table.
Batista beat up her pussy, so she's used to
Yeah,
getting
man. Yeah,
pounded.
he beat that spine up, hitting it from the back, so she'd be all right. The table spot was dangerous because she might have clipped her head on that shit. There's a couple dangerous spots in this match, but no, they pulled it out. So yeah, very entertaining.
I did like it. Sticks. Any thoughts on the match by elegance?
Yeah, it's very interesting. We were talking about a women's tag team match where we had one tag team that lost and it was going to disband that had really that has had good chemistry, and one that is coming into their own that having chemistry. So I don't know if you want to say it's almost like a passing the torch type of thing, but I mean you can see how one was going out the door and the other coming in, and how they're kind of coming not direct parallels, but I mean, it was it was nice to see that now we're gonna see finally Jody and Daniel Luna, who I'm a big fan of Daniel Luna. I think she's been an underrated knockout just in singles, but in the tag team, we see how great she has
Hmm.
been. Now it could be her opportunity to bust out as a single star while we're getting the elegances, which I mean, we could see this if they really wanted to. They could almost kind of like Freebird New Day this if they get Maggie in it. Like you could do that with these women, and that would keep it kind of interesting in itself too. But no, this is a great women's knockouts tag team match, and we finally see the end of Spitfire while seeing the uh continuing climb of the elegances.
The ascension of the elegances. Caesar, what was your beer cheese match of the night?
Run down the match card for your boy again because I've been drinking.
We had we won't talk about the pre-show. With main show, we
Yeah,
had Santana versus AJ Francis.
nah.
Had Cody Deaner versus Eddie Edwards. We
Mm-mm.
had the System versus EY in the Northern Armory.
Nah.
Match by elegance. And then Order 4 versus the Rascals, Indy Hartwell and Raj Singh, the returning Raj Singh. Ariana Grace versus Tessa. Knockouts championship match, Masha versus Alicia. The Nemeths versus Matt Hardy and Black Cynic. And then the main event was Joe Hendry and Elijah versus Trick and Kazarian.
Sticks is probably gonna pick one of them other matches that was good, but I'm gonna pick this one just because this was a good showing by a guy who I didn't know could have a good showing. I'm gonna pick the Diener versus
Eddie.
Eddie match because it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Diener was showing his ass tonight. It's supposed to be his like if he did show his ass, he can get a new contract type shit match, and if he did get the dub. We all know Eddie Edwards is a pro's pro. You know what I'm saying? And he was gonna have that bitch out there cheating, which he could cheat. And but no, I thought the match he was showing a lot of heart. He was showing a lot of shit. He was throwing them chops, girl, in the beginning and slapping the trash out that cracker, and was trying to pull some shit out of his ass. So I'm gonna give it that one. That was my beer cheese match because I ain't never seen no match out of Eddie Diener Diener like that. Um, and he was showing his ass tonight, and then he showed his ass in a loss. And sometimes, when you show your ass in a loss, it looks better, even if you could have got the dub. And we all know the system was gonna cheat. We all know Dave's gonna cheat. Dave was gonna get the dub, and then them other niggas was gonna come out there and run his ass down. Um, so I'm gonna pick Eddie Diener. Uh, cheers to you, nigga. You was getting it in. You was showing your ass, and I respect the man who was putting it all on the line in his hometown to show his ass.
Do you want to know something?
Now, I don't want to know shit, bitch.
No, it was Cody Deaner versus Eddie Edwards. Cody's contract is on the line. Of course, there is Alicia shenanigans, the crowd chanting Beetlejuice at her. Every time Cody pulls off a single move, he looks at the crowd and the commentators act like it was a miracle he pulled off his move. Eddie clocks Cody with his ring. Alicia Dick Puncher Jones, Boston Knee Party. Eddie wins, and Cody is gone from TNA. The system comes out to rub salt in the wound. EY comes out to defend Canada. Did not mention Cody once. He just was sticking up for Canada. And then a 6-man tag was impromptu set up. Sticks, what did you think of Cody Deaner's last stand?
Yeah, like Cesar said, when your back's against the wall, you're going to pull out everything. And even in a loss, you can show your ass out. And in my opinion, I think this is probably one of the best, if not the best, match Cody Deaner's had in his TNA career. I know they talked about how many years he had been in wrestling and how many years he had been in TNA. This guy was eating everything and coming back stronger. He ate that Eddie Edwards ring hit and came back stronger, but then the old Dick Punch Jones from Alicia was what set up the downfall. It'll be interesting because we have, you have the battle of two guys in power between Santino and Robert Stone. If Santino could go to the board and basically say, hey, this guy damn near overcame all the odds except for, a Dick Punch Jones that got it lost. I mean, the ref didn't see it, all that stuff. I think this guy deserves to have his contract renewed, see if he can go to the board, and if the board would take mercy upon it, I don't know. But if this is Cody Deaner's last match, which, I mean, it could be, or he might be off TV for a little bit and then come back with a triumphant return. But if this is his last match, he went out in a blaze of glory and went out with a pretty good match to go out on. I mean, he talked about leading into the match, going up against a 2-time TNA champion, a guy that is one of the standards of TNA, a guy who is a surefire, I think the announcers even talked about it, surefire first ballot Hall of Fame TNA wrestling candidate. And he went blow from blow except for the low blow with Eddie Edwards in this match. So I agree with Cesar. This was a really good match.
Well, Sticks, now it comes down to you. What was your beer cheese match of the night?
Well, gentlemen, like a lot of wrestling cards say, that in the bottom fine print, cards subject to change. Now, you had said that it was supposed to be Mike Santana and AJ Francis. Well, AJ Francis couldn't wrestle because he had turf toe. So who did he have in
It
his
happens.
spot?
It happens.
KC Navarro.
Navarro.
And KC Navarro looked shocked too because he didn't know what was going on. But KC Navarro stepped in for his boy and put on, I thought, a hell of a match against a man who is ascending, a man who is, ever since he has returned to TNA in his singles run, only been pinned twice in his singles run. And he showed up and he put on a hell of a performance against a man that is ascending in the ranks that I'm pretty sure we will talk a little bit more about later on when we talk about another program. But I thought this match was a great match. I thought it was a show out performance for Casey Navarro. Like Cesar had talked about with Cody Deaner, showed out in a loss. I thought Casey Navarro showed out in a loss. We hadn't really seen very many singles matches with KC because AJ Francis has been that guy that's been climbing his way up for a singles championship to bring to first class. The little back and forth that they have had with Mike Santana. Obviously, this is probably going to work towards AJ Francis and Mike Santana sometime down the road. But at this current moment, we had Casey Navarro and Mike Santana. And like I said, I thought Casey Navarro showed out. He gave Mike Santana a run for his money, made Mike Santana earn this. I'm a Mike Santana fan. I think he's one of the big things that TNA has going for them right now. And I think he's a star that needs to get the shine put on him. And I think they're starting to come around on that. So this guy's breaking out of that tag team wrestler mold and starting to blaze a really great trail for himself as a singles guy. And I thought this match helped his ascension to becoming a future singles champion in TNA.
And if that doesn't work out, shit, go for the tag gold with KC Navarro because that dude could go. He showed it, and you were correct, Sticks. We thought we were gonna see Santana versus AJ Francis, but nah. AJ got turf toe. KC replaces him. Drama King being funny about AJ's condition. He wants to start a GoFundMe or something, or a hashtag on Twitter or something about it. Of course, there is AJ shenanigans. It was a decent match. STB Santana wins. While Santana was shaking Casey's hand, AJ attacks him. Cesar, this was the match that kicked off the main show. What did you think of it?
Nah, man, this match was good. Yeah, it kicked off the show. You got turf toe, man. Look, when you got turf toe, you can't be out here risking that shit because you got to be out here getting that what? Sangria? Getting that what? Getting that money. Yeah. So you can't be risking the rest of your body on that turf toe because look, turf toe, man, he can't run off the ropes like he do. He can't hit that sweet Tennessee whiskey. You can't be hitting that shit with the turf toe, man. Can't be hitting that shit with turf toe. So look, he had to have Navarro fill in. Navarro be cooking, bro. He a good wrestler. He'd be out there. He'd be cooking. He gotta get some more shit under his belt. And who not against Mike Santana? If not, who not against Mike Santana? Mike Santana been on the roll. Navarro get a win over Mike Santana. Navarro could damn near fight for the TNA championship. Because, Santana on a roll. He like damn near number one contender. So, you got to take that opportunity when you can get it. It was a good ass match. And then, yeah, Santana, because he been cooking. And he on a roll. He got that dub. And then, yeah. AJ ain't going to hit him with the bullshit afterwards. Because, yeah, he got to test it out. That's what you got to do, man. That's what you got to do when you got 40-40 vision down the line. You got to be like, look, Navarro. It's 50-50, man. I know you can beat this nigga. I know I can beat this nigga. But I got to see what this nigga can do in the ring. So now, AJ done seen what this nigga can do in the ring. Because Navarro done took him to his limit. And he's like, they can't hang with me. He gonna whoop that ass. Then he gonna get the opportunity and try to go for that TNA World Championship. It was a good match, man. This was a good ass match to start the pay-per-view. If we start the pay-per-view, this was a good ass match. I ain't mad at this shit.
So for the worst match of the night, not gonna spend a lot of time on it because it was terrible. Tessa Blanchard versus Ariana Grace. Yeah, Robert Stone banned Santino from the ringside. We got the she's a racist chants. We got Tessa, we coming for you. Tessa fucking botched a move like she was setting her up for like a
Oh, that elbow to the back?
yeah, and
She
she's
botched
like
that shit.
tripped
Yeah.
and fucking hurt her own. She hurt herself doing it. It was
Hitting
just
that rope? Yeah.
because Ariana, she still needs a lot more work in the ring,
Mhm.
and Tessa is very hated. I just did not care for this match. Cesar, what was your worst match of the night?
I'm trying to think. I don't even know.
I can give you a hint.
I mean, was it this one?
Could be, but the one after it was worse, probably.
What was the one after it?
Masha versus Alicia Fox.
Yeah, I didn't care for that shit
That
either.
was horrible.
I think I fast forwarded
Horrible.
a lot through that match. I don't. No, no. All right. So there was a point I fell asleep and then I had to watch this shit again. Cause look, it was Memorial Day weekend. I was swamped at work, man. I was working, came home, watched some shit. I know I didn't get a lot of sleep because I had like hurt my knee the day before and I didn't get a lot of sleep one night. Yeah, I didn't get a lot of sleep from Thursday to Friday. And then I think I watched this after work, and I think I did fall asleep on the Masha match. And
I
then
don't blame you. It was fucking terrible.
I watched the whole pay-per-view over Saturday because I was not watching Saturday Night Main Event. Like I was just like, no, I'm not watching that. Uh, the only shit I wanted to watch was Our Truth for John Cena, and I was like, I can watch that online. It's probably gonna not be long. Uh, I am mad I missed Bronson Reed though. But yeah, other than that, I was just like, I don't really care about this because this is that bullshit. Robert Stone on TNA is trash. He's just being a dick. So I mean, you could be a dick, but make it entertaining. But he's just being a dick.
It's
So I don't,
Sheriff Stone, Cesar. It's Sheriff
I'm
Stone.
not that nigga ain't my sheriff. Okay, I don't know about you, bitch.
Hey,
Zanka, get your boy. Get your boy.
Zanka needs to fucking sue for
No,
gimmick
no.
infringement.
Mm-mm. Zanka, get your boy. He called that nigga Sheriff Stone. I ain't call him Sheriff Stone. That's just some cracker from NXT in a suit wearing a hat. Nigga ain't my sheriff. And this trash ass match. Ain't nobody wants to see no 48-year-old Alicia Fox fighting Masha Slamovich for no fucking reason.
Look
I
at
don't like
Alicia Fox looks like a lot lizard trying to run out there and pull off a fucking championship match. Get the fuck out of here.
yeah, ain't nobody care.
Sticks, worst match of the night.
Yeah, it's a toss up between the two that you said, but I'm gonna have to go with Tessa and Ariana. Just for the fact that Ariana is so green that you need someone that can actually legit lead a match to help not only keep the match flowing, but also to be able to put her over. And Tessa Blanchard isn't that person. On top of Tessa Blanchard, not only do that, but getting concussed at some point in that match. Like this was just bad. Like, if you want to see something that's bad for like the relationship between TNA and NXT, this was probably one of those. Like, you probably should have had her go against somebody else, but obviously Tessa aligning herself with Alicia and not a Sheriff Stone. You're gonna throw her a bone and keep going with this because obviously then I think later on it leads to something that we're gonna see coming up on this coming Thursday. But I mean, with at least with the Alicia Masha match, there just wasn't as much like hiccups and there was just a lot of indecision parts of this match. Majority of it coming from Tessa of like what she wanted to do. Like, I think there was a part where she was in the when they Ariana was in the corner And I don't know if it was after she got concussed, but she goes into the corner, puts her foot over like the middle rope to stop from doing something. A lot of just spots where you're like, okay, I can see maybe this was after getting concussed because she's just like, well, what are you doing? Like, this is just, and at that point, when you see stuff like that, it's like, you shouldn't have put yourself in a spot like that. And then I understand stuff happens in matches where it doesn't go as planned, but seeing how this match went, it was probably how it happened was probably something that Tessa didn't need to do, and then it led to that. But I mean, I gotta agree with you, Sangria. This was the worst match, and this was just something that you don't need in the in-ring development of Ariana Grace. And I think this was probably the biggest black eye on Under Siege that they had for the night.
And sadly, it's not over because they're gonna do a mixed tag after this shit. So we haven't seen the last of this shit. But Sticks,
Nope.
do you have an honorable mention you would like to drop?
Honorable mention for worst match, best match, is
Yeah,
or what?
we're not worst match.
Honorable mention is just like you want to give credit to one person or two people or another match, whatever you want. Dealer's choice.
I'll say this. I know we didn't talk much about the pre-show, but the work that Rosemary's doing in the select matches that we're seeing of her match with her and Zaya Brookside, it has been a slow build of trying to get Zaya Brookside to just quit being that goody two-shoe, squeaky clean baby face.
Yeah.
Having Rosemary be that having her be that antagonist, and seeing it finally push Zaya over the edge, like to get DQ'd and to snap. I thought it was something great. Like Rosemary, we talk about her whenever we get the chances to with her. She's one of the best knockouts that they got. Like she's gone through many iterations of character, and she still shows up and she puts on pretty good performances for the knockout division. This match that she had with Zaya, it wasn't bad. Zaya Brookside, for as young as she is, has put in a lot of work. And to see where this possibly could go either way, like to see that she had Zaya break her squeaky clean mold to get DQ'd and just a snap. Oh, it was great on Rosemary. She had her break her just ultra clean baby face mold and to actually snap. So I'll give a dap to Rosemary. I thought she did a good job.
Rosemary looks like Lisa Lampanelli now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it, kids. But my honorable mention for this pay-per-view is the commentators. They were on point this whole pay-per-view, and yeah, the starting a hashtag for the turf toe. I was laughing that whole fucking match.
Wasn't that pray for? Didn't he start saying hashtag pray for AJ?
Yeah.
Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah,
And
man.
then
Drama King be on that bullshit.
When he attacked with the crutch afterwards, he goes, "It's a miracle." It was just fucking great. So my honorable mention was the commentary team for Under Siege. AEW had a pay-per-view called Double or Nothing. And so I'm just going to comment on the only match I saw because thankfully there is some dude on Twitter who just says, fuck it, I'm posting the entire match. So
yeah.
The main event, Owen Hart. Final was Hangman Adam Page versus Billy Beer Cheese Ospreay. Of course, with these two, it's an incredible main event. I loved the intros. The intros were it made it. They're finally starting to get it. I think that I missed out on this pay-per-view. I really wish I could have got it because I've heard nothing but good things. This main event was great with the video intros. Just it made it.
You can always steal it like me. That's what
it made it matter, and you could feel it in Hangman's voice what he was saying, and then Ospreay. It was great. It was great leading in. Hangman sporting a pink shit on his pants for Owen. Styles clash to Hangman off the apron to the floor was fucking gnarly. Unfortunate table break when they were both on top of it. I guess they couldn't support the weight. It broke before he could hit the what is it? The
The dead eye.
yeah.
Yeah.
The hidden blade is not a finisher anymore. It just he hit multiple fucking hidden blades, never fucking got the 3 count. They're beating the shit out of each other. I guess they're best friends. I love how Hangman hit big pressure. Swerve's finish, just like Ospreay tried the one wing angel. That was a great twist. I like that. Hangman puts Ospreay away with a buckshot lariat, multiple buckshots, by the way, as well. Hangman wins the Owen Cup, the belt, and will face Moxley at All In. Sportsmanship ends the night. There was a handshake. Incredible. What a great main event. And I'm pretty sure most of the card was great as well. Cesar, any thoughts on the main event of Double or Nothing?
I don't know. The main event was a really good match. So there were not true finishers because remember there was that one spot where they both took off the elbow pad.
Yeah.
So yeah, he hit an hidden blade with the pad on. He didn't hit one with the pad off,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's and just like Hangman hit a buckshot with the elbow pad on, and then he didn't hit one with the pad off. But doing everybody else's finisher, like, because Will Ospreay hit a phenomenal forearm early in the match. He had a Styles Clash to the outside. Yeah, the reverse one wing angel into the big pressure was super dope.
That was a nice
Super dope.
touch. That was a nice
Yeah.
touch. Yeah.
Trying shit that sticks. Sorry for the pun, sticks. But trying things to stick just from that you learn from other competitors. I feel like guys who still wrestle and you're doing stuff like that, that shows more of an honor versus like, you know, everybody takes a move from somebody who's already done. Like Kevin Owens does the stunner now, but Stone Cold is technically retired. But doing things from guys you've had big matches with, like he's going for the one wing angel because what? Because nobody's really kicked out of it. Hangman going for the big pressure because he's had a lot of good battles with Swerve.
Was this your
Hitting that last one week, hitting it. What?
was
Sorry.
this your beer cheese match?
No.
Oh, okay. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Wasn't mine. It was close.
Mhm.
It was close. I literally, while I told you to start this, I had to go in the room and I had to hit Brother Cortel myself because there was two. There was two matches. It was this or another match that I was like, this is my beer cheese, and the quarter said the other match, so I got to
Okay.
pick it.
Okay.
I got to pick it. But this was a really good match. It was a really good match. This deserved to be the main event.
Yeah.
This did deserve to be the main event. It was either this match or another match that deserved to be the main event. This match deserved to be the main event. It was really, really good. Um, I thought it was excellent. Yeah, the table spot had to do what it had to do. Um, with the dead eye and whatnot, and hitting the other moves, and then finally hitting the buckshot lariat to win to set up whatever all in. No, yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
all
all
in.
in or all out?
Yeah, all
I
in.
can't remember. All in. No, this match was great. Super phenomenal. The promo on Dynamite leading up to this was really good. Um, you gotta talk about that to lead up to it because Will Ospreay said he wants the Hangman that everybody talked about. Like this is the true Hangman. He's like I wanna fight the real Hangman to give me everything. He's like, because I'm fighting for my family. Hangman said he was fighting for his family. Uh, because somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to beat John Moxley. Somebody's got to do it. as we all know, Hangman is the really only person to beat John Moxley for the title. Other shit has
I think they
happened
well,
before.
I think they talked about it. He's beaten him twice. Like they
Twice.
talked about it on
Yes.
commentary. So
Mm.
I think that helped lean into it too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the only man to beat him twice, so he's got to really do that. Um, so yeah, well, Ospreay's like, if I can beat you, who's beaten that man twice, then I can beat that man and bring it back for AEW, not this Death Rider bullshit. And so yeah, man, bro, that's what happened. And them boys went out there in that ring and they did what they did. The pay-per-view was great. Uh, like I think we have always said, like the pay-per-views are great. It's just how they get there is trash. So but the pay-per-views be cooking.
Well, we've also
Um,
talked about the match placements of the pay-per-view too, which was is
yeah.
an anchor to it too. But no, I agree with you. I digress. Sorry for
No,
interrupting.
go ahead.
No,
No,
no, no, no,
go,
no.
go for it. What did you
It's
think so
totally
far?
fine, totally fine, totally fine. This was a really good match, deserving of
Yeah.
the main event. Yeah, match placement. Match placement in this pay-per-view was not bad. Uh, because they gave you a break between the match I'm probably going to pick for the beer cheese. They gave you a break match in between, which I'm sorry, like it's on those guys who was in that match.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
this,
that match gave me a rivalry I wanted to see. Hopefully, coming out of that match going forward, like when I saw those two guys, which I'm sure we'll talk about when we get to that match, but I thought it kind of shit on that match and the people, but I
hmm
understand because when you come from a high of one match, you're gonna have a huge low spot, and it's unfortunate that you are the guy or guys that get that straw drawn for that.
Yeah, it
All
was
right,
like
so
sucked all the air out the room and then just match and then it was peak again. So
let's finish talking about this match. Sticks, what did you think about the main event of Double or Nothing?
Oh, this was my beer cheese. Like Cesar said, this it came down to this match and one other match, but um, like we talked about as a whole, leading into this match, like once you start watching this match, when you can go back to the promos leading up to this, the emotional investment that these guys had in those promos coming to this and to have this match go as it did, it showed you that these guys had something like they had a physical and mental investment in this match because both guys want to bring that title. They want to take that title off of Dictator John, to quote MJF,
Yeah.
and to bring it back to somebody that will show up on a Wednesday or a Saturday and defend it without it being advertised. And to have that championship out of a briefcase and to show that it is the quote unquote best championship in all professional wrestling. These guys went out there and did it. I mean, Hank, like, even going into it, like Will Ospreay said, if you beat me, I'm still pulling for you, Hangman. I will still be on your side. So that lets me know that after the outcome of this match, that we might not have seen the end of Will Ospreay in this championship hunt. Like just even in the journey of hopefully Hangman taking that title off Dictator John. But the match itself was great. Like you could tell, like they talked about Hangman's just a brawler. He's got the his punches, his blows hit harder, and they did. Like Osprey, I don't know if him selling it or if it's a combination of, or if it was just Hangman hitting it hard or just combination of both. Like you could tell, like Osprey would hit him with a punch, and Hangman would hit it, and it would just rock Will harder. But the finishing sequence of this match was just great to get it to the buckshot, all the stuff. Like the little thing I had was the phenomenal was the Styles Clash going off the top the ring apron to
yeah, yeah.
there's just you could do it a lot better. I've seen and I'm sure you guys have seen AJ do this before. I mean, for it doesn't look like it's just almost like just a straight down drop onto it. Like
No,
the old lady myself,
Hangman curled early, which made it
yeah.
look a little yeah.
And I was like, the old lady, if she was here, she would hear you. She would tell you I was testing this. I was yelling at Hangman. Curve, man, curve, because it was just like this. This is how this is how it happened over in New Japan. That AJ, like, he broke a dude's neck because the guy did not curl his neck. Whereas a lot of people, majority of people over here in the United States, they know as soon as he's doing that, you bring your neck, you bring your head, your neck up, so that way you don't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, Hangman, he did it. And he did it at the right time, so that way he didn't do it. But it was just the optics of how it looked, and just the way that Will didn't really kind of help lean it more towards that. It was going to be like going more one direction instead of just a straight down. But that's just nitpicking. That really is the everything that led up to this match, and then the match that we had. I thought it was one of the better, if not the best, um, just all around programs that AEW has had leading into a match. And it wasn't even for a championship. It was like for the opportunity to get to All In to face John Moxley for the championship. But I mean, it doesn't surprise me that we have something we've talked, like we've coined it, beer cheese Osprey. But it has, when you have somebody like that with a guy like Hangman who does do good in matches, but doesn't consistently have like that upper echelon bar setting match, to have somebody like Osprey with this match to make it so that you have to do that, I thought it was great. It showed us what the true main event, main player man that Hangman can be. And this was perfectly placed for this. I love how they bookended the card, the main card, with the Owen matches. Obviously, they did the right call with the right match to main event instead of, the bullshit CEO placement because she's a attention grabbing whore. But this match was really worth it.
So, ever since I got to watch that match, I've been checking Twitter, refresh, 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 because the match I really wanted to see, I've seen the highlights, and my God, did it look fun. It really seemed like everybody had a good fucking time in the crowd for Anarchy in the arena. They were singing "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor." They were doing crazy ass shit, exploding tables, again with the tacks on the shoes. I was hoping I would get to see that match in its entirety, but I did see the highlights. That's all of what I have to say about Double or Nothing. Cesar, what was your beer cheese match of the night?
Anarchy in the arena.
Okay, describe it. What did I not get to see? Because I saw
Can I just say this
gonna-
real quick? When you saw fucking Swerve come out with the Predator fucking costume and the fucking Tron, I knew shit was real. Like, it was going to be great.
Well, Cesar, what made it your beer cheese match of the paper?
Yeah, no, Anarchy in the arena was good. So the first one was the first one in. No, the first one wasn't in the fucking stadium, was it?
I remember a football field.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was during the pandemic because they
yeah,
had
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was
Was
the
that one?
golf cart with Sammy Guevara. He got ran over. They went from, like, what was it, Daly's place to the Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium.
Yeah, was that the first one? I thought that was the second one. Maybe that was the first one.
It was the first one, and Kenny did the one wing angel off like a fucking like a 30
The
Yeah,
second one,
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe, I think it had, like, what was it, Jericho's theme music or something like that, just continuously
Yeah,
played
yeah,
throughout
yeah,
the
I
whole
remember
match.
that one. I think that was the one Sammy got hit with the golf cart. And then this one was good. This one was good. It was all in the arena, um, as it should be. And so the crazy part is people were coming out. So like everybody was coming out, but Samoa Joe was nowhere to be found. So then the good guys come out, the bad guys come out, but the bad guys split up. Like what's some niggas called?
Death Riders.
Yeah, they kind of split up, and then Joe appears out of nowhere and fights Claudio, like in the stands. So that's how it starts. Good shit. They had a little four-way camera. The bitches were fighting each other. Swerve and Kenny were fighting the Young Bucks. Nigga House Hobbs was fighting what's his name?
Mox.
Dean Ambrose for a while. And Joe was fighting
Yeah, because
Joe's
they
fighting
showed at one point,
Claudio.
they were asking, like, where did Mox get a fucking fork? As he's gouging big fucking Hobbs with this fork. And like, when the camera
Yeah.
finally went to him, like Mox is just staring at the camera, like, and it's just like raking his fucking face. I think at one point, he took the fucking fork and was like at his throat. It was like raking his throat.
Yeah. Then Samoa Joe is fighting Claudio everywhere but the ring. Like these niggas started in the cheap seats. They went to the VIP suites. They went to the merch table. Them niggas was outside at one point. Uh, the bitches was out by the truck and they end up with catering. They bought in a frying pan, which I was like, Vince would never. Okay, this is a no holds bars match, but at one point, Marina Shafir was hitting Willow Nightingale with a frying pan that they found outside, and I was like,
Well, Willow was throwing, wasn't it, glass bottles at Marina when they were outside? She was just grabbing shit from a trash can and just chucking her at this bitch, and then breaks one over her head, which caused Marina to get bust open. But also, I think if you looked, it caused like Willow. Like I think she got some of the glass shards in like either her palm or her wrist. And like it caused her to start bleeding pretty badly too.
yeah. Then this Crockett Kenny came with a Captain America trash can lid with the Omega sign in it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, with his Canadian ass. Uh, the young cucks showed up like George Washington because they called themselves the founding fathers. Like literally the whole they wrestled in them suits. The old
Yeah, they
ascot
wrestled in
ties.
the colonial times fucking outfits, like the long jackets, all this fucking shit. It was these
Yeah.
fuckers leaned so hard into it. It was great.
Patrick
And that was the
Mahoney.
like the drum fucking beat thing was the whole thing that started like kept playing throughout the first like fourth of the fucking match.
So yeah, they were doing all that fuck shit. Uh Match was really good, man. It was entertaining. Everybody was getting their shit in. Uh Claudio hit a fucking spin shit on Swerve on the outside and then threw him into a speaker that exploded. And that's what finally stopped the music for the match. Nigga House Hobbs took the most damage in this fucking match and still kicked out of everything. So, like, unless you're gonna shoot nigga, and then Tony Schiavone still said it. He goes, Hobbs has been shot before, so he knows about taking pain. And I was like, then how you gonna pin him? How would you pin this man if he's been shot before and said he walked it off? How would you pin him and arrest him?
I'll say this
I
about the pay per
digress.
view. Commentary started off a little slow, but I don't know if JR like Uber eated like fucking Moscow mules to these guys. But like the later the pay per view went, these guys just loosened up and the commentary got fucking just great. Like even the commentary they talked about during the Tony Storm Mina Shirakawa match, like towards the end after the stuff that after the match, like that was just fucking great.
Uh, Hook showed up in an orange hoodie like Kenny from South Park because he's not dead. That's the joke.
He showed up at the Anarchy in Arena?
Yeah, nigga.
Damn,
Because
everybody was there.
because Gabe Kidd showed up.
Fuck, did
And then
Darby show up too in Mount Everest?
no, but shut your fucking mouth. I'm gonna tell you who else showed up.
Well, hurry up,
Uh,
bitch.
uh actually, we gotta talk about the whole pay-per-view because well, I'm about to explain some shit because it's a fucking on-running joke about somebody else who showed up.
Oh god.
Uh yeah. This is why the pay-per-view was good though. This is why the pay-per-view was good.
Yeah, this is
So
probably one of the better pay per views that they put on that didn't have to involve New Japan talent being a part of the fucking like card.
Well, unless you talk about the 6-man match that happened after this, because that was all good.
Yeah, but I'm talking as like a whole, like
Yeah,
as a whole, like it wasn't a Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
yeah. But so at one point, Hook showed up with a golf club and beat the shit out of Claudio with the golf club because Claudio was the one who injured Hook. So there was a stretcher match between Briscoe and Ricochet earlier in the match, and the ambulance was still in the arena. All right, Briscoe lost. Ricochet threw him in there, and he lost. But then Gabe Kidd showed up with the briefcase, beat the shit out of everybody on behalf of the Death Riders. And then at one point, Briscoe showed back up outside of the ambulance, beat the shit out of Gabe Kidd, and then they all threw all of the Death Riders into the ambulance and shut the ambulance. So Briscoe, the Ops, and Willow were holding the ambulance, and it was Kenny and Swerve versus the Young Cucks in the ring. Willow got her ear chained to the fucking turnbuckle by Marina Shafir one time, and then Prince Nana had to get the fucking key to
Yeah,
let
because
that
Prince
bitch go.
Nana and Swerve showed up with Swerve on the top of like a pallet on a forklift, and Nana had the key because they had the chain, like Willow had a chain, and then Marina had the lock, and she put the lock
Through her ear
through like
gauge.
through the ear, like the pierced ear part of Willow
Wow, that's
to the ring
new.
post.
At one point, Willow and Hobbs speared everybody in the ring, men and women alike, because they had the big black and Jack t-shirts on. Willow was spearing the Young Cucks, dead ass. Fucking who was it? Moxley. Moxley DDT'd that bitch, that fat bitch Willow. Lizzo looking ass. Fucking Kenny gave the quick fucking dragon screw shit to
Snapchat.
Marina Shafir. The crowd was hyped for the men beating on the bitches. Crowd was super hyped for that shit. Nigga Hobbs took the most damage of fuck shit throughout this whole match. Swerve has new shoes with Allen Iverson, and then Prince Nana at the end brought them shits out with the thumbtacks, and he hit the Swerve stomp to the nigga to win. While Kenny was hitting the one wing angel off the ramp to the floor on another Jackson, and it exploded. So some same time fuckery there. But yeah, Mark Briscoe came out because Mark Briscoe was bloody because Ricochet hit him with the fucking scissors. This nigga came out the ambulance still bloody to fuck up Gabe Kidd. Still blood from like, and this was like first hour from fourth hour. The blood was just dried, and he was still in the same getup. That means this nigga sat in the back for 3 hours and let the blood dry, and then came out to fuck up Gabe Kidd and throw him in the fucking ambulance with everybody else that was in the corner. But it was manageable chaos. It wasn't super crazy like that arena. That arena shit was too much because it was the whole arena and it was dumb. And this was mostly like, yeah, it like only Joe and Cesaro traveled the most. That was it. Everybody else was around the ramp, the stage, the ring. That was it. Everybody else was around there. Joe and them went from like the concourse. They went outside, like outside where ticket sales is.
Mhm.
Came back in. The women went backstage and then came back in. Shibata and them went backstage and came back in. Everybody else went from the ring to the ramp and then came back in. So that's why it was fun because it wasn't so spaced out, and that because first First, the Jacksons came in with some like literally old timey Founders Fathers music, and it stopped playing. And Kenny got on the mic and was like, "What the fuck is this? Play some real shit." And they played that dumbass AEW "I'm so excited" shit, and they started fighting. And him and Swerve was like, and then they were like, they started beating ass and threw him out the ring. And then Kenny was like, "All right, man, play like that 2000 like hardcore shit." And then that's when they started playing Bodies on the Floor. And then when nigga got thrown through the speaker, it kind of blew up and they stopped playing music. And then everybody was just still fighting and shit. Uh, and it
So
was crazy
that sounds
because
incredible. I hope it does become available on Twitter because I will
no,
watch.
no, this
Oh,
this
okay.
was this was the beer cheese match for me.
Okay.
But when Hook came back from the dead with the Kenny hoodie and he hit Gabe Kid with the golf club, and then he dropped the hoodie, and everybody was like, "Oh shit!" And then Joe was like, come on, get in the ring, fuck these niggas up." And then Hook was kind of like, "Nah." He really left. He was only out there for like 5 minutes.
Hmm.
So they were like, "Why is there tension in the ops?" Because like there are the trios champion Shibata, Nigga House Hobbs, and Joe. But like Hook came out there with nigga came out there with a 3-iron and just beat the shit out of Cesaro for like 3 minutes and then just dropped the hoodie and then dipped. And it was weird because he was like, "Bah," he's beating the shit out of him. And Joe was like, "Hell yeah." And Joe was in the ring. He's in the corner. He's like, "Hell yeah." He's like, "Come on, come on." And Hook was like, and then just walked away. And then Gabe Kidd came out because everybody was expecting Gabe Kidd to come out because he's been helping them beat up them niggas all week. I didn't expect Mark Briscoe, so that shit was a wild turn of events for me. But yeah, no, this was my beer cheese match. It was really, really great.
So
Like they were
Sticks,
not lying.
Sticks, it is AEW, and it's to be expected. So I want to know what was the worst match of Double or Nothing? What was the moment where you're like, this, I should have went to the bathroom for this.
Well, I'm just gonna say this is it's not because of the action. It's just because I knew what was gonna happen.
I already know what
And
the
it was
worst match of the night was. I can tell you.
and it was the first match. It was the women's Owen Cup match. I'm not saying because of the action, because there was actually good action, but
It's
it's just the way
predictable.
that they book. It's just the way they book Mercedes Sasha Banks. It's just the way she does it. This woman is winning all her, like, she hasn't lost a singles match in AEW. She's lost a
I got
championship
to retort. I got to
outside
retort
of
for this
AEW.
because he's completely wrong. That was not the worst match of the night.
Well, let him
I'm saying
finish.
it
Let him
because I'm
finish.
not saying it because of the action. I'm saying because of what happened. I'm tired of this stuff. Like, I'm tired of them doing this because if this is how it's going to go, and if she ends up beating Tony Storm,
God, I
this is
hope.
bullshit because she's already the TBS champion. She doesn't need to be TBS and AEW women's champion. She doesn't need to be the woman to beat Tony Storm. There was more history between Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm because the announcers ran through that in the match. The history that there is between Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm. I don't want Mercedes Moné. I don't want the basket case of a bitch who cries when she loses a title. I mean, there's a reason why WWE didn't back the truck up to keep her. Because this woman, when the wind changes and she don't like it, she's gonna throw a fit. She's gonna pack her ball up and go home. So it's only a matter of time before Tony Skeets and New Japan sees this stuff happen. And just the way that this, like, me and the old lady talked about this. Like, we talk, like, with her being the female belt collector and Kenny Omega being the belt collector, like, the old lady hates it because she's like, there's just so much, there's too many titles on a person. And I told her, I said, well, the difference between Mercedes and Kenny was Kenny's body of work at New Japan. I could understand it because the guy was putting on 5-star matches, was putting on match of the year candidates. So I could see him showing up to AEW. And yeah, he had Don Callis. but I can see him being the guy to collect all these titles. Whereas Mercedes, I mean, she was working for the Fed, and she still was having her best match was probably a decent match, but she wasn't putting on banger matches. And then all of a sudden, she becomes a free agent, and AEW signs her, and now she's just ascending to get like Rev Pro. At one point, New Japan. She's got all these other ones. She's got the TBS Championship. Probably going to end up getting the women's championship. Once again, I will state this not because of the action in the ring, just because of the outcome, because of just all the bullshit of the hypocrisy of this woman saying that she's here to help like better women's wrestling, but just squashing people, like beating people, and just elevating herself, not making people look better. Like I understand if you win these championships and then you slowly start losing them, but then you have the lore of being this big belt collector chick, but then you start helping elevate women to get them to your level, so that way when later on down the road when you have these matches, it's almost equal footing for this stuff. I thought this was the worst match because of the outcome.
Mercedes Mid is a glory hog, and she has creative control. So sadly, this might continue. But Cesar, what was your worst match of Double or Nothing?
The worst match was the Hurt Niggas versus Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. That was the worst match. That was the worst match. The Hurt Niggas versus Sammy and Dustin was the worst match.
Okay, NXT had a PLE called Battleground. We're going to kick things off with the first match. It was for the Women's North American Championship. We had Sol Ruka with Zarya versus Kalani. These ladies kicking off this PLE, proving that NXT has the best women's division on the planet.
Facts.
What an amazing start to Battleground. Facts. Both of these women pulled off their best performances and holy shit moments. Zarya showed more of her heelish side, assisting Sol, which got her tossed. Match ends with a super Soul Snatcher and the retain. Bravo, ladies. I gave the start to Battleground 2 pretzels. No, I gave it 7 pretzels. This was a fucking incredible match. Cesar, what did you think of the kickoff to Battleground? No pre-show, right? I didn't take notes on the pre-show. There was no pre-show.
Was there a pre-show?
Sticks, no pre-show?
If they did, I didn't see it.
No. It was Sam Roberts and that blonde chick. They were just talking about.
Yeah, they were just talking. They
were just talking. All right, good. What did you think, Cesar?
The disrespect. The disrespect. You gave these broads 7 pretzels.
What did you think of the match, Cesar?
This was 8 in the beer cheese. This was the best match of the night.
It was great.
No, this was 8 in the beer cheese. These broads showed up. They showed out. The Zarya element still there for all, 3 of their matches? Because Zarya has fought Kelani twice. She beat that bitch. She lost to that bitch. And now Sol Ruka hit that bitch. But, Zarya did a little cheat where she pulled Sol out the way. Ran Kelani was on the top. Pulled Sol out the ring. She got dismissed. But, yeah, this match was great. These broads... But these broads fought the first time to have Kaylani be the first North American champion. And now they fighting right now with Sol being the North American champion. We all know. We all know. These broads can cook when they need to cook. They can do it with whoever, whenever they in the ring. Yeah, keep them in NXT. All right. One of them being the North American champion, one not. Don't matter. They both can be, the NXT heavyweight championship when they want to, promote Stephanie the Cure up to the main event and whatever. These broads is great. This was 8 in the beer cheese for your boy because they cooked. Like I'm going to say it was downhill from here, but it wasn't that bad. It's not like it was a fall off. It was not a fall off, but this was peak. These broads was peak. They cooked.
Yeah,
Love
Sticks. I mean, they know how to kick off their pay-per-views, and this
it.
was a fucking banger. Sol Ruka and Kalani kicking the show off. What'd you think?
Yeah, 1,000% on the same page of Cesar. This is my 8 in the beer cheese. These women, like you knew going into this match, it was going to take a lot for this match to not be at least 7. And these women did not fumble the ball at all. But also, let's talk about by osmosis, the guys that these women are dating. You got one that is getting dicked down by Mello, and the other getting dicked down by Tyler Great. And so by osmosis, these women are going to fucking put on a banger of a match. And these fucking women did. I mean, one, they're athletic as hell. And both these women showed it. Like the opening, like move set between these women, counters after counters after counters after counters, was great. And then we started getting the mixing up with these women. The moves that these chicks were doing, like you said, we got just a sprinkle of the Zarya heel, which is going to probably play into down the road, which I like when you have something like that. You got a woman like Sol who isn't squeaky clean, but is a babyface enough that she doesn't need this, and it's going to play into something down the road. She got tossed. It didn't really affect it all that much because Kalani was able to rebound and still put on some moves, but Sol showing you, like we talked about, if there's any injury stink from her, it's gone. Like it is gone. Like she isn't wearing a knee brace now. Like this match, she didn't have the knee brace, even though Kalani did the single leg crab. You know, it didn't really affect her all that much. So I think we're at the point now where Sol was pre-injury putting this title on her to allow her to have a championship run to make sure that nothing's going to go bad. It's great. This is what you have to do. This is how you utilize your mid card. If you think there's somebody that you have as a potential future main card person, you put a mid card championship on them, let them run. If it goes great, then you're like, okay, we can go with her. Sol Ruka is showing you that right now. In ring, out of ring. This chick has it. She's a future NXT Women's Champion. Whenever Stephanie gets the fucking call up, Sol Ruka can be the chick to beat her, and they will not miss a beat. This match was a hell of a banger of an opener, and it was my beer cheese as well.
There was a 6-man tag after this. I was busy. I had to do some things. It was Coling versus Hank Tank and Briggs. Hank Tank and Briggs win. So I'm just gonna move on to Tony D versus Stacks. New theme Jones for Stacks, not bad. These two are best friends, so they're gonna beat the fuck out of each other, which they did. Booker T was upset that this is some Cesar shit right here. Like when Cesar is drunk and on his fucking shit, this is what Cesar would do. Booker T was upset that Vic didn't call Stacks by his entire name, Channing Stacks Lorenzo. He's like, hey man, show him some respect. His name is Channing. And after that, they kept saying his whole name after that. I thought that was funny. But Tony D and Stacks, great chemistry, of course. Tony at one point showing mercy. Luca appears out of nowhere. Dick Kicker Jones, Stacks wins. Of course, this is the correct decision. This was the direction it should go because Stacks, I think, needs this for his career in NXT because possibly Tony D's on his way out. Who knows? I know this isn't over. We're going to get some kind of fucking fight at the docks finish or a steel cage. It's going to lead to something more extreme to settle this feud. But I did give it 6 pretzels. Wasn't bad. Sticks. What did you think of Tony D versus Stacks?
Yeah, this match was great. Like you said, good friends, heavy hitters. The outcome of this match is something that you need to help build, but also to prolong this feud. The only one down thing I would have be is if you're going to be the Dawn of the NXT, no need to be soft. Like you need to keep fucking, when you have those chances to do stuff, you need to keep staying on them, all that stuff. But I mean, that's just nitpicking. I digress. I also gave it 6 in the salt. I thought this is great. I thought this is a good another building block in this rivalry to continue. It'll be interesting to see where we go with Tony D in the consigliere because he came into the ring afterwards, wanted to hug him, and Tony D was just like, no, no, no. So is Tony D basically having this Dawn against the world thing? Because we still got Rizzo to still show up at some point. Is she going to cause him to lose a match? I mean, it's all going to be very interesting. And the way that they're doing this, I think is great because it's small building, small stepping stones to continue this storyline. And like you said, it could be stepping stones to him winning or losing and then being called to the main roster. But all in all, 6 in the salt. I thought it was a good match. And we'll continue to see where the story goes.
Yeah, Cesar, we got the first match between the Don versus the Underboss. What did you think?
Yeah. I also thought the same. It was a good match. You know, a little back and forth between everybody. Stacks saying he's sorry near the end. Calling Tony soft earlier in the match and then saying he's sorry near the end means he knows he can't one-on-one beat Tony, but he's got to play Tony mentally, and that's what he's been doing the whole time. Is really good, you know, psychology in the ring. And yeah, I thought it was good. And then Lucas just showing up and Tony's like, what the fuck? And then Stack going for Dick Kicker Jones. Getting the dub is what he's got to do to get the pin. So Stacks can't beat him fully one on one. He's got to play the mental arena shit. And then he's got to bring back Luca, who we all thought Luca was in the, you know, the desert in a trunk. But no, he's right there. So is Lizzo gonna be like right there next time? Because Stacks
Rizzo.
Oh, sorry. Willow
Willow
Nightingale.
Nightingale is gonna jump ship. No,
Yeah, and Rizzo. Is Rizzo gonna be on Stack's side or on Tony's side? And yeah, this looks like another, you know, just like when Tony beat Escobar for a loser leaves NXT and Escobar went up. Might be just Tony who goes up. So yeah, I thought it was good too, man. It was a good match. It's about a 6.5.
I gotta give a
Six in the salt.
I gotta give a
Yeah.
shout out to NXT production for the intro video to this match. I appreciated they played the entire history of Tony D and Stacks. I loved going down memory lane and him
Yeah.
breaking down. It's they always knock it out of the park with these video
And
packages.
then even Book and them were talking about, yo, man. Book was talking about, yeah. Stacks helped Tony D get out of prison, but I mean, I heard on the streets, you know, he really was doing that shit. I was like, Book, why you hating? Why you hating? You just hating for no reason.
Well, up next was for the NXT Women's Championship. It was Stephanie Vacuur versus Jordan Grace. It was the Juggernaut versus La Primera. This should be the main event, but can't win them all. A funny moment where Jordan counters the Devil's Kiss, throws Stephanie at Booker, and then gives Booker a smart ass grin. Booker's like, "What did I do to her? What did I do to her? What's with the disrespect?" That was fucking hilarious. Stephanie eventually hits the Devil's Kiss, and the crowd explodes. And Charmel tosses Booker's clothes out the window. Jordan showing her resilience as she was able to kick out of the SVB after being put through a barricade. However, Stephanie puts her away with the spiral tap to retain. I gave this 8 in the beer cheese. I don't care if it was sloppy. I loved it. I love the wrestling aspect. Both of these women are main eventers. Uh, Incredible women's division. I mean, you can't miss with either of the women's matches. But this one, I gave my beer cheese. Cesar, what did you think of the NXT Women's Championship match?
No, I thought this was great too. I liked how Stephanie counteracted with the AAA bitches first.
Yeah,
Before she got in the ring because she called herself La Primera versus like being with those bitches. And then I made the comment in my head when like worlds collide, if she's fighting one of them, or if not both of them, I was like, Booker T's nuts are going to explode because there will be three Cholula Green bitches in the ring at the same time. So no matter, I was like, if they all do the move, you might as well cancel his pants. Okay? Because I don't know what dry cleaner is going to get that much nut out of them pants.
Better have a good
Okay.
divorce attorney.
Yeah, yeah. You might as well. Queen Sharmell get in the house. She get in the couch. She get in the guest house. Like Book gonna have to call Stevie to sleep in that nigga's couch for the next 18 months while he gets himself together with these NXT contracts. Um, but no, you're definitely valid for picking this match for your beer cheese because it was either this one or the first one.
Yeah, for sure.
Because yeah, anything else on this card was not getting the beer cheese. These ladies show out. It was great. I think Stephanie kicked out of some other stuff. Did she kick out? She kicked out of the Juggernaut Driver too. Did she kick out the Juggernaut Driver? I can't remember.
No, so I don't think Jordan never even
Never hit it, but she hit
didn't
something
hit it.
else.
She hit the
She
spinning
she,
back fist. I know
she hit
that.
the spinning back fist, but I think Jordan hit another power bomb that Stephanie kicked out of that she shouldn't have on something else. It was something else. I thought whatever. But no, this was a really good ass match that both these ladies had that I thought it was really, really good. Because they're both professionals, man. They're both pros.
Mhm.
Um, and it was really, really, really good. And they had some false finishes at the end. But yeah, Jordan kicked out of the first time. And I was like, damn, this shit is crazy. And then, the crowd is always hot. Crowd is always hot. And then Jordan rolled outside the ring, put her through the table. The next time, yeah, Booker T and the crowd. Ah, 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 yeah. And Vic reminding Book of his blood pressure medicine and all that other bullshit. And the Cholula Green. But yeah, man, it was a great match between two professionals that were super good. But with Stephanie, I like the fact that she came down and looked at those broads to set up the Worlds Collide. Whether she's fighting one of them, whether it's a triple threat and she's fighting both of them, it didn't matter. They both were right there to talk that shit and to do work, do dirt. And that's what's gonna set up shit to keep you involved and to keep you entertained and watch those other pay-per-views that are going on.
Yeah,
So yeah.
sticks. And then not to mention fucking JC Jane slapping the shit out of her afterwards. What did you think
Oh
of
yeah. I wasn't even talking about that. Yeah,
what
yeah. The afterward shit. But
what did
yeah.
you think of the NXT Women's Championship match?
Yeah, I'll keep it short, sweet. The two women's matches on this card outshine and we're head and shoulders above everything. The foreshadowing, like Cesar said before, that we're gonna get a worlds collide with either both or one woman, is great to have. Both these chick professionals. Jordan Grace, I think they said on like the little graphic when she came out. This was like she had either been in three NXT Women's Championship matches, and I don't know if that was either including this or that was three before this match. But regardless, Jordan Grace went out there, showed you she's a professional. She can shine even in a loss. I gave this 7 in the salt. Both these women went out there, showed their asses off. It was more kind of showed that it was going to take a lot more to put Jordan Grace away. Two SVBs, and then I'm a fan of AJ Styles, old school AJ Styles hit that spiral tap. So to see Miss Stephanie Vacour bringing that back, it warms the cackles of my Stixie drip heart to see her doing that. But it was a great match. Second best match of the night, and 7 in the salt.
So I just watched a quick little summary of the match, and Jordan set up Stephanie like she does the SVP,
Yeah.
but Jordan turned it into a Liger bomb, sit down power bomb pin, which Stephanie kicked out of. But another highlight of that match, if you watch it again, Stephanie hit Jordan with a super fucking stiff DDT. It looked rough. Like I thought Jordan had brain damage after that shit, but what a hell of a match. I love that. The women's division is just fucking incredible.
They're
Up
good.
next for the NXT Championship, it was who Oba Femi versus Def Orton, Miles Bourne. No bread, no
No
water,
water.
just
Just
me.
me.
Yeah, even though all of America could predict who was going to win this was a showcase for Def Orton. He was able to hang with the Ruler. We witnessed the coming out party of Miles Bourne tonight. Oba helped make this kid a superstar. It took 3 fall from grace power bombs to defeat Miles. This was a great match. I gave it 7 pretzels. Sticks, what did you think of the NXT Championship match and Miles Bourne performance of his career?
Yeah, 100% on the same page with you, Mangria. This was you, even though you knew it was gonna happen. Miles Bourne was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna show my ass out and show you why I am in this match and show you why I'm a building block for NXT. And he went out there and he did. This guy, I think he even said afterwards, like, I may have lost the match, but I'm winning in life, which I'm pretty sure we all know why he's winning in life.
Oh
Because he's
yeah.
humping
But
Stephanie Vaquera.
yeah, but I digress. I mean, there's one thing to be dating the women's NXT champion and go out there and just be complete ass. But this guy is dating the NXT women's champion and putting on banger of matches while losing. Like you said, Obafemi, we've talked about this. This guy is a dominant force, but he also sells to make it so that the guy he's facing is a worthy opponent. And the combination of him selling and Miles Bourne kicking it, like just showing his ass off in that match, made this a great match. I agree with you. I gave this 7. This is a performance that will show you probably it's going to help be it's going to be the one that'll probably start fracturing the no quarter cracks, but it's something that puts Miles Bourne on the map and on a trajectory to at worst be a mid card champion. I mean, the guy put on a hell of a performance. This is why what we've talked about with Oba. Obviously, being able to help do stuff in this match, this is going to help him for when he calls up to the main roster. This guy's going to be a main event player on Raw or SmackDown. This performance was another reason I showed why. I agree with you. I gave a 7.
Cesar, were you like me after Miles hit the power slam to Oba and the crowd was saying RKO, RKO? Were you expecting him to fucking hit an RKO just for the
Yeah,
hell?
bro. I wanted that cracker to hit RKO, but I knew he couldn't hear the crowd.
Yeah, I just
Yeah. What's the crowd gonna do, nigga? It's deaf ass. They
they're
can't hear
signing
the
it. They're
nigga.
signing it. RKO.
Mhm.
What did you think of the championship match and Miles Bourne?
Yeah, they had if they would have put up signs and then like the left, the center, and the right would have said RKO and he'd have hit that shit. I might have been like, yo, give that nigga the title if he read the fucking crowd and they said RKO and he hit RKO. I'd have been like, Sean would have been like, give him all the titles. Sean would have been like, give him all the
Well,
titles. Give him
you,
all the titles. No,
you,
ref, sign that shit. Sign RKO and then fucking here's
you
that shit.
see
Give him all the titles.
at the White House, at comedy shows, at concerts, there's always somebody there for the deaf person fucking signing
Yeah,
what's going on. They
yeah,
should have that should be his Stephanie should come out and fucking start signing for his deaf ass.
yeah. The ref would have learned sign language and put that shit up. And like just put Randall Keith in the fucking sign language on some bullshit, and he'd have been like, oh,
Yeah.
spike that nigga, and then won the title. Like it would have been fucking great. But no. It was a good ass match. You know, it was a real good ass match, man. I'm not mad at it. Um, And then fucking Miles showed his ass, bro. Showed his old ass against the ruler. Even the ruler had to look back. He was like, "What?" It's like, who hired these white boys? He's like, "Oh no, Massa Michaels was hiring 100% slaves because we was gonna kill these white boys." And he's like, "God damn, that nigga is like 97 Randy Orton, not 98 Randy Orton, because 98 Randy Orton would be one of the ones we picked to fight that gorilla. If it was 100 men versus gorilla, you hired 98 Randy Orton because that nigga is ruthless." He was like, "That's 97 because I'm a big black gorilla and he didn't beat me. But if that was 98 Randy Orton, I don't think I'd be holding this title no more." And then Triple H would be dumping him on his ass because he'd have the NXT title as long as the world title. He would tell Batista to dump his ass back. Yeah, yeah, do that shit. But yeah, man, old Miles Deaf nigga off that, I mean, shit. I'm gonna be honest with you, Sangria. If I was deaf but eating that pussy of Stephanie Valkyrie every night, my fat ass would whoop Oba Femi in 38 seconds. If that bitch told me, she was like, "You can't eat it no more unless you beat Oba Femi." I'd be like, "Bitch."
Cesar would come to the ring with a fucking 9 iron.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Bitch. I'm gonna whoop that nigga's ass in 38 seconds." Oba Femi would bring his big ass from Alabama out there, and I'd be like, "You about to die, right? You's about to die." It would literally be like some Mortal Kombat shit in real life. I'd murk that nigga. Okay. Stephanie Valkyrie said I can't hit it again. So I beat Obafemi. Massa Michaels would be just looking at me. I'd be like, "She told me, Massa." And I'd show him the video. I'd pull it up on the phone. Be like, I'm like, "Play, nigga. Play." She showed me the video. And he'd be like, "Damn. Damn." He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry you didn't tell me." I was like, "It had to be live, nigga. I didn't know because I had to kill his ass. And now I got a murder charge and it's first degree." He's like, "No, we gonna play this off.
It's
We gonna build
sanctioned.
that nigga
It's
back."
sanctioned.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I'm sanctioned. You good. You good. He goes, "You can hit that shit whenever you want." I was like, "Yeah, man. You too, Master Michaels. Come on, man. We can DP this bitch. Eiffel Tower. Bow, slap hands like the water boy. Slap hands." And he's like, "Shit." Next thing you know, we Gucci. Anyway, what we
If they
talking about?
did do that Eiffel Tower, we got a deaf guy and a wonky eye guy. Would that be under the handicap section of porn?
Yeah, definitely,
Is there a
definitely, man. We could
handicap
park. We could
category for
park up.
porn?
We could park up front at any school and hit that bitch in the back with the fucking short bus.
You got the placard.
Just saying, just saying. But no, really good match though. Really good match. Um, but yeah, I thought that Sol Ruka and Kalani match was the best match of the night.
Well, the
But
main
no,
event.
these boys really did show out. And I like the fact though, like even when Oba he keeps winning, he's the ruler, he does whatever. He gives a look back, and I feel like next week Tuesday, tomorrow, he's gonna give that man his credit, like his flowers, even though he's a rookie. Oba's gonna be like, "God damn, boy, I ain't think no rookie was gonna take me to the limits, but you did." So that elevates Miles, you know what I'm saying? And then we also do have that match tomorrow with
He's
Santana versus like,
uh
the nigga from the NQCC, which I
Santana.
think is gonna be a really good match as well. And I think that's gonna elevate those guys as well. And then just get more eyes to the product, man.
Well, the main event was for the TNA championship. Joe Hendry versus Trick Willie. The crowd is hot for this match, this main event. Trick channeling his inner Booker T. We even get a Trick-a-rooney. Trick
Mhm.
mocking Henry. TNA president watching as Trick Willie is giving Joe the business. Trick bookends Henry through the announce table. Trick tries to use the TNA title to attack, but the ref grabs it and puts it on the mat. Trick then flapjacks Henry onto the title after raking his eyes. Horrible trick shot. Trick is your new TNA champion. History has been made. The first ever contracted WWE superstar, NXT superstar to win a TNA championship. It was decent. It was decent. Fuck shit finish. 6 pretzels from me, Cesar. What did you think of the history making main event of Battleground?
And this shit got like 4 pretzels for me. This match was ass. I don't think these
I
niggas
thought
had
I was
chemistry.
being harsh.
These niggas ain't got chemistry together, bro. I thought this match was ass. I thought they were always off. They weren't on. Like they were always off in everything they wanted to do. Like the brawler parts were good, but when they wanted to transition to other shit, it was just like the timing was off. The finish was definitely off.
Well, you
I
do
just
got to give it a little bit of props because they did give a tribute to the Rock and Booker T match from SummerSlam when Trick did the trickaroonie and then Joe Hendry hit the fucking
He was
bookend.
doing
I mean, that was kind of cool, right?
but he was like pointing at Booker T when he did it every single time. Like he was like
And then the camera smash cuts the book. He's like, yeah, yeah, you.
he's like yeah, because he gives him the okay. And then like Trick was doing the spinneroonie and he was hitting the they call it the bookend. They were calling all the bookend instead of the rock bottom because it was Trick doing it, and then whatever. But this match was ass, bro. This to me, I don't know what y'all thought. I don't know what y'all thought.
I gave it a 6. I mean, I thought
Yeah,
it was decent.
normally you be really hard on ass matches, and I feel like because this is NXT, you gave it a better grade than you.
I
Really
gave it a better grade. Well, I listed the reasons, but it was history making and it's never been done before. And plus, I'm the harshest person on Trick, and I thought this one was decent. Not great. I didn't give it
Yeah.
an 8. I gave it a 6.
No. This is great. This is great for TNA because like I feel like the product is gonna bring more views to TNA. And like this doing it brings more views to TNA, which is great for the product. No, I think this decision is great. This decision is really, really great. And I feel like that's gonna be great going forward. But I feel like this match though was trash and it was ass. It didn't beat this didn't deserve the main event. Like this should have been before the open match.
I said the women's championship match should have main evented. That's
Yeah, no, you're
yeah, my
correct. You're
opening
correct.
line was
Yeah,
this
yeah.
should have main evented. Yeah.
Me personally, I feel like the North American match should have main evented. But like we all said, there should have been matches before this that main evented. But this match to me, like these guys were better as a tag team.
This could have opened. This fucking
Yeah,
match could have opened the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
Yeah.
If this would have opened the show would have been better.
Yeah.
Because this was just I don't know. Yeah, across from each other, these guys don't like together. These guys have chemistry as a tag team, but across from each other, these guys are ass. And I felt bored through this whole match. If I'm
Wow.
gonna be honest, I felt bored throughout this whole match. And then like the last like 20 seconds, I was like. I literally had to rewind it because I think I was on my phone. And I was like, what, Trick won? I had to rewind it to see how he won. And I was like, yeah.
Well, that's 6 from me, 4 from Cesar. Let's see if Sticks calls it down the middle on this one. What did you think? History was made at Battleground, Sticks. What did you think?
Well, boys, I don't know if we had this conversation off camera or not, but I believe we had talked about how with the future of with Trick, this probably wouldn't be a bad thing if he were to beat Joe Hendry because it allows him to stay down in NXT and but also the crossover because I feel like both these guys are kind of essentially the same. Both are great on the mic, great have viral moments, but in ring work at their best is going to be decent.
Yeah.
We had talked about with Trick, if he shows up on the main roster, he'd find his way back to Mello. Well, right now, Mello's got the Miz. Mello don't Miz. So it's obviously not the great time to have that happen. So that you have this. So I mean, I'm not mad at it. I agree with you guys, match placement wise, this shouldn't have been the main event. But outcome wise, with the quote unquote ripple effects in wrestling that this has, I see why they did it. This match could have went either way, but they're gonna do this because of the working relationship with TNA. TNA didn't have their heavyweight champion put his championship on the line on their pay-per-view, but he's doing it on NXT. So NXT's like, okay, we'll throw you a bone. We'll have your champion defend his championship against our guy as the main event. Okay, working thing to allow the back and forth. I gave this 6. Like I said, I think both these guys are essentially the same, minus skin color, and tanning definition. But I mean, either one of these guys, like in this, like when matched together, it's not a great match. Like you need somebody who's been in the ring for a while that can lead a match, carry a match, allow the guy to hit his match while also still hitting other spots. So that there's just that. But outside that, I mean, with the ripple effects, all that stuff, I see why it's the main event. Obviously, maybe we'll get another one, but also too, to have it be the main event, they showed the president of TNA, so we can get that camera shot of that guy being shocked. I think this is good for Trick because it allows him to stay down in NXT, but also kind of not be in NXT because he'll obviously be on a good amount of TNA television now till either the next NXT PLE or the next TNA TNA Plus pay-per-view. So it just bides him more time before the call up and before he gets circles the drain back to Mello. So I agree with you guys. It shouldn't have been a main event, but I see why. But with that being said, I gave it 6.
I'm curious to know if they had this already in their books because at Under Siege, when Trick came out, the crowd was fucking hot. They responded really well to Trick in that Under Siege main event. I wonder if they're like, hey, he might be a good fit here in TNA. Yeah, give him the title. Give him the title. We're going to see how this. We're going to ride this out. So we'll see what happens on Thursday when Trick comes out with the title. See if he gets booed or cheered because Under Siege, they were cheering him like a face.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you have it, folks. That's 3 pay-per-views we went over. Again, this is a spinoff of the Steel Bro After Party podcast. Go ahead and check them out. It's Steel Bro After Party on Instagram. Like his memes, post questions when he does do podcasts. Check it out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Check out the Steel Bro After Party. And until next time, we're going to do what we do best here on the tripod. And we give that big ups to Stallion Pete.